Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dr. Emmett Emery Sr. podcast. I'd like to thank everyone who viewed the last podcast that we had a guest. And it was very productive, talking about behavior therapy. And today, I'm going to do part 3 of that part 5 series. And we're going to be talking about mental health. This part of mental health is leaving the room or physically distancing oneself in the workplace. Before I get started, I'd like to do a little advertisement right now. My fraternity is having what you call a Christmas party. We call it Nup Navidad, but it's a Christmas party. Fraternity is Kappa Psi. And the party is open to the community as well as the organization. And on the flyer that's listed, you see the prices for to get a table of 8 and see the price for individual tickets. Also show you how to purchase those tickets as well. And what we're really honing in on for this event is for the kids. So we're trying to get as many and as much toys as we can. So we're asking that each individual that purchases a ticket bring a toy. 1 toy, 2 toys, 3 toys. How many toys you want to bring? Because the toys is going to the kids in the low income communities, or the ones that's less fortunate to have Christmas gifts. So we want to give back as much as we can as far as the toys goes through the fraternity for Christmas gifts. Okay, leaving the room or physically distancing yourself in the workplace can be a healthy coping mechanism for managing mental health, especially anxiety, stress, and burnout. Taking a short, strategic break can prevent situations from escalating. For employees with diagnosed mental health conditions, time away from your workstation can also be a reasonable accommodation under the Disability Act of your city, your state, of your country. Sometimes you have to know when to leave. Get up and walk away. Sometimes you have to walk away without even being harassed or being agitated. You just walk away because you're overwhelmed, or you getting stressed out from the job that you're doing, that you just got to walk away from it, or you're feeling anxiety from the job that you're doing, that you got to walk away from. I ain't say walk away from your job. I said walk away from the situation. So you have to give yourself a mental break, so to speak. Some people do mental breaks by going out taking taking smoke breaks. Some people do mental breaks by going and getting something to eat, and that keeps them a little bit more focused. Or a person gets up, just go drink water. And then you got the individuals that have those jobs that they think that they don't need to step away or can't step away or can't afford to step away from the job. Either you step away and get yourself together mentally, or you won't be there at all, spiritually or mentally, to fulfill that job. You got to think about your health. You got to think about you. I'm saying it's more now going into this holiday season. Some jobs have what they call holiday workers, and the schedule is so intense that you can't get away, and anxiety build up and stress. So, especially you individuals that have those type of jobs, you have to give yourself a break. So you have to know when to walk away, leave the room, or physically distance yourself in the workplace. There's certain steps we're going to go through. First, the benefits of stepping away. Yeah, there's benefits of stepping away. You just don't think that, I step away and the boss going to be mad at me, or I step away and I might get in trouble. It's benefits to stepping away. It reduces anxiety and stress, as I was mentioning. Briefly stepping away from a stressful situations helps interrupt a negative feedback loop. Deep breathing, walking, or meditating during a break can calm your body's fight or flight response. It prevents burnout. Detaching psychologically and physically from work for short periods can help you recharge your mental energy throughout the day. A prolonged feeling of detachment, however, is a key sign of burnout. And what you want to do is prevent burnout. That burnout can not only affect you physically, like I said, it can affect you psychologically as well. avoid toxic conflict. Physically distancing yourself can prevent you from overtaking in a moment of anger or frustration with a coworker. You distance yourself from it. That way you won't lash out. You won't hear something that has not been said that caused you to explode and cause you to retaliate on a coworker for something that probably wasn't even mentioned or said, but you thought you heard because you're tired, because you need that break, because you need to walk away. So next, avoid toxic conflict. Again, I'll mention this again. I want to say it again. Avoid toxic conflict. Physically distance yourself and prevent you from overreacting in a moment of anger or frustration with a coworker. Everything I'm talking about today is in the workplace. I'm not talking about anything about the home. I'm talking anything with the spouse, I'm talking anything with the kids, anything with friends, anything with neighbors, anything with the dogs, the cats, the rats, squirrels. I'm not talking about anything in related to that. I'm talking strictly today about the workforce, because mental health is a big issue in the workforce. And I think a lot of the agencies that higher up in the agencies have not yet understood how to deal with mental health in the workplace. They're looking at mental health as being a mental deficiency that the individual have, and that what you might hear them say is, okay, we support you in that attitude. You can get as much time away as you need. Well, a lot of the mental health issues and mental illness is just simple prevention. You can just get up and take you a break. You have to know when to leave the room or physically distance yourself in the workplace to save your health. Next, increase focus. Breaks allow your brain to rest, which can improve concentration and lead to greater productivity upon your return. Now, the younger generation might not need that much rest. They might not need a break. They might be able to go a long distance of time. I don't know. But the middle age and older, take your damn break. Take your break. I'm telling you, take your break. Because you're quicker to get anxiety. You're quicker to get stressed out. You're quicker to get burnt out. So, and it takes you a while to get focused. I'm just not saying to be saying. I mean, I'm middle-aged and older myself, so I know how long it takes me to move. You know how long it takes you to get up out that bed? Well, it takes your brain that much too if it's filled with this with stress and anxiety. You know, the pains and aches you just get out of nowhere. Well, your brain get that out of nowhere, so you need to take care of your body, your brain. My goodness. Provides perspective. A few minutes away from a problem can help you assess the situation more realistically and less catastrophic. Provides perspective. Things not cloudy. You're not looking through double lens. You see clearly. It provides you perspective because you are rested. Your body is okay from the break. That means that you're more alert. Now, how to use physical distance as a coping strategy. Take a time out. When you feel overwhelmed, take a brief walk around the office or step outside to get some fresh air. Even a few minutes can reset your mind. You're not trying to get your body totally relaxed. You're trying to reset your mind. Reset. You hit that reset button on the computer or that reset button on the computer, either reset or refresh. That's basically what you're doing. You're resetting your mind. I'm not going to say you go out and reset at 12 and you get off at 4 o'clock and they're going to completely reset from 12 to 4. No, you might have to take another break at 2 o'clock and reset it again to 4 o'clock. At least at middle age and older will have to do that. These young blood, they may not have to do that. They might go to 4 to 8 hours without a lunch. Crazy. Create a comfort kit, a small portable kit where items like a stretch ball, headphones for listening or calming music, or essential oils can provide quick relief. Do that for a break. Some workplaces you get 2 15-minute breaks and a 30-minute lunch break. Some places you get 2 50-minute breaks and an hour lunch break. So do strategic planning and time management to make sure that if you are going to have a portable kit with items like stretch ball, headphones for listening to calming music, or essential oils that can provide quick relief, that you set enough time that you can do those things. Because you don't want to be quick with it. No, have time to do it. Incorporate mindfulness. Use micro breaks for simple mindfulness exercises like focusing breathing or progressive muscle relaxation to reduce physical tension. There's other things you can do as well. Those are some of the things that I mentioned. Some of you might have do a little quick aerobic session to get you relaxed. And some of you might even be more energetic and do the Zumba class, 15-minute Zumba class during lunch, during your break, then come back sweating, ready to go. Set clear boundaries. If you work remotely, this can mean stepping away from your computer during breaks. If you work in an office, it means making time for lunch or walking away from your desk when you need to. Set clear boundaries with yourself, not with someone else. So you set these clear boundaries and you make sure that you fulfill what you're looking to accomplish through those boundaries. You can't deviate from those boundaries. You deviate from the boundaries, then you're not really fulfilling what you set to accomplish. It's just like instead of going on a diet, and I'll be on a diet for a week, and I'm not eating any sweets or carbs, just salad. And then day 2, you get carbs. Day 3, you get sweets. And then day 4, so you say, I'm gonna be firm. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna make sure I don't deviate from it. And then day 5, your diet ends. Well, you only had a diet for 3 days. 2 days, you deviate from it. You set clear boundaries, but you didn't stay with your boundaries. So not only do you need to set clear boundaries, but you need to stay within the rim of those boundaries. You gotta have discipline. And that discipline is what's gonna allow you to have the determination and the desire to take those breaks to help your body and your mind. You can just take a break and do a quick 15-minute prayer, spirituality, right there at the seat, at your desk. You don't have to leave your desk just to take a break. You could take your break right there. Some people just need that quick prayer to clear their mind. Clear their mind, clear their spirit, clear their heart. Some people just need to stay focused. Just drift off. And the only way you can stay focused is to take that break. Get your mind back, get yourself back, get control of your body. It's the mental part, capacity that causes the body to deteriorate. People say, oh, no, your physical part of your body, if you strain your muscle or you pull a hamstring or you break a bone or you have diabetes and you lose a limb, that what's disturb you emotionally or mentally. You can have the mental capacity to have that happen to you and still say, I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm still going to go forward. I'm still going to be who I am. It's not going to let it change me. You have individuals who have accidents and can't walk and then become paraplegics, and they still said, I'm not going to let that stop me. They could be athletic, be an athlete prior to, and say, okay, I'm going to the Olympics, Paralympic Olympics. I'm going to compete through basketball, be a basketball player. So there's still things you can do, but you got to have determination to do it. Or you can have you don't want to have the mental part that causes you to just regress and feel sorry for yourself. And when you start feeling sorry for yourself, then your body has a tendency to deteriorate very quickly. And then when you try to bring back that body, it's very difficult to bring it back after it deteriorates. It deteriorates like that. But it's a struggle to get it back to a certain point, or to that point that you want to get it back to before it starts deteriorating. I'm not going to say you can't get yourself in physical condition, and you can be still in a position where you can mentally function. Mental health is good. I'm saying if you was, say, 190 pounds and all muscle from shoulders down to ankle, and then you go into the depression and the anxiety and the frustration, and then you go to 230 pounds and you got fat all the way down from the neck to the ankles, not muscle. Well, it's going to be a challenge trying to get that fat back to muscle or get back down to 190 pounds from 230. That's basically what I'm saying. But if you have that, if you set clear boundaries, then you won't have any problem with that. Now, I'm going to go into an area that no one really talks about when you're talking about the mental health part and the setting, knowing when to walk away and reset your mind, so that you can get focused back again. And that's a legal and corporate consideration. Reasonable accommodation. Right now I'm talking about things that fall underneath legal and corporate consideration, that some companies give you this information. They give it to you when you first get hired. They give it to you an orientation, and you have that information. But they give you that information with a whole lot of other information. When they give you this information, you're supposed to read it, but you don't have time to read it because you're moving so quickly through orientation. And then once you get hired, they don't give you the information. You got to ask for this information. So this information you probably don't even know about, and HR probably said, well, I gave you the information, you're supposed to read it. Well, they know good and well that if they put you in a 3-day orientation, they already got a schedule, agenda for the orientation. And by the time you get around to the documentation, it's time to go to work and no more orientation. And then you take that folder of documentation and you sit it down. Well, you sit it down, you forget about it because now you're working. You figure, well, only thing I need to worry about right now is my pay. What, did I get paid? I get paid in 2 weeks. I get paid in 3 weeks. I get paid this week. So that's all you're concerned about. Did they get my direct deposit information? So you're not looking at the legal and corporate considerations that goes into mental health, because you're not really looking at mental health. A lot of people don't look at mental health in the workplace until something happens that gears them to HR for help. And usually when you go to HR for help, they go to HR to get time off to deal with that situation themselves. And when they go to HR to deal with the situation themselves, they're not aware of the benefits that comes to assist them with that condition, or what they need to do or have to do to make sure their job is secure in that situation. Because some HR individuals will tell you, hey, we give you 2 weeks and then that's it. Or some individuals say, well, it depends on the severity of your mental health, whereas we might have to move on without you because the position that you have, that you hired for, requires you to be mentally stable. As I don't know what. And then they hide behind that. And then they when they get to the litigations, if you're suing them or they get to court proceedings because you're suing them, then they give a different story on why you was let go. It was the evaluation was not good. You're like, I haven't had evaluation. I've been there for 2 years and they never got an evaluation. All of a sudden, 3 evaluations shows up with them. You're like, I never signed that evaluation. They said, no, that individual refused to sign it. You can't prove it, and they can't prove it. So that person overseeing the litigation said, well, we got to go to documentation because we don't think the company is going to lie like that. And you're sitting there thinking, oh, they're lying through their teeth. So I encourage you to read the documentation when you receive it through orientation. Well, even the orientation is over, I encourage you to go to your HR department via email or in person or via telephone and ask them to fax, email, or allow you to pick up a copy of the legal and corporate consideration. You're gonna say, well, there's no such thing as legal and corporate consideration. Yeah, it involves reasonable accommodations, it involves leave of absence, involves employee assistance program, EAP, and I'm going to talk about communication is the key to make sure you get all that. So if you know that in advance, and everyone, and you can quote me on this, everyone at some point in time get tired. They get tired. I mean, you can get tired to the point where as soon as you get home, you sit and you sleep. Or you get tired to the point if it's a Friday and you lay down that Friday, you probably won't wake up till Saturday night. Some, depending on your job. Or you can get tired and be exhausted to the point where you're falling asleep on the way home. It's dangerous. But everyone gets tired. And if you don't take care of your mental part of that tiredness, then that tiredness turns into anxiety. Everyone, I could say, have some form of stress. Maybe it's minor, major, or mid-level. But that anxiety, when it steps in, that has a great impact on your mental capacity. So legal and corporate consideration. Reasonable accommodation. The disability agencies requires employers to provide reasonable accommodations for mental health conditions that substantially limit a major life capacity. Again, reasonable accommodation. The disability agencies requires employers to provide reasonable accommodations for mental health conditions that substantially limit a major life activity. Examples include more frequent or flexible breaks. Yes, there's not supposed to be a such thing as 2 breaks and 1 lunch, or no breaks and 1 lunch when you suffer from mental health issues and you communicate to that company. Like I said, the disability agency requires employers to provide reasonable accommodations. That's the third time I'm saying it. For mental health conditions that substantially limit a major life activities. Examples include more frequent or flexible breaks, a quiet, private workspace to rest and calm down, working remotely on a part-time or full-time basis. There should be no such thing as we cannot accommodate you here at the facility because your job requires you to be mentally stable. The disability agency requirements requires employees to provide reasonable accommodations. Requires, I'm a reasonable accommodation. I know this is the 4th time reading it, but I'm trying to make sure you get this. The disability agency requires employees to provide reasonable accommodations for mental health conditions that substantially limit a major life activities. Examples include more frequent or flexible breaks, a quiet private workplace to rest and calm down, working remotely on a part-time or full-time basis. Also remember, when you go into HR or to management stating that disability agency requires employees to do those things, you make sure you got documentation proof that you have a mental health condition. Just by saying it verbatim or just saying something wrong, which is not basically stating that you have the mental health condition documented. So if it's from a medical, it got to be from a medical facility. It can't be from dad, from mom, your husband, your brother, your sister. Go into work, sign Big Brother James, and you take it to work and say, okay, I got a mental condition. It looks like, who is Big Brother? Your Big Brother signed this sheet? You did better signing yourself. So make sure you have documentation from a medical doctor. I mean, by medical doctor with behavioral health. It could be a psychologist. It could be a behavioral therapist. You're talking mental health. It probably won't fly if you have the signature or the recommendation that you have mental health conditions from a doctor in the emergency room. It probably won't fly. It probably won't fly if you have the documentation and the signature from a doctor of pediatrics or gynecology. It probably won't, because even though they saying that you say that those conditions are within you, they can't prove it medically. So you must have a licensed, certified, or licensed therapist that can give that. Whether it comes from the whether it comes from the VA, Veteran Administration, whether it comes from the military itself, where it comes from regular mental health therapist organizations. You must have the documentation. Do not bring any copy of your records, medical records, to verify that. HIPAA regulations require that the doctors don't give that up anyway, unless it's a court order from the judge. So do not give out your private personal information. And here I don't have the doctor's signature, but I got my paperwork from the facility to show that this is roaming, this is roaming, this is roaming. You don't want to expose that information to your job and your employer, because if you're getting ready to be promoted to an area and they see that certain things are wrong with you, then they won't look to do that. Or they might switch you to different areas, or they might limit your promotion. You don't want anyone to know all your business anyway. Long as what you're doing, long as the disability that you have is not affecting your ability to perform your job 100%, well, your employee don't need to know that. It's none of their business. I know if you walk into your boss office tomorrow, you think your boss going to tell you all his disability? You're going to say, this is what wrong with me, this is what wrong with me, this is what's wrong with me? No, because he don't want anyone to know that he has weakness. If you have weakness, he or she have weakness. They feel that this is a disadvantage that they have to lead. So if you're not familiar with the HIPAA, I encourage you to read up on it and find out more about it. But until you read up on it, do not, please repeat, do not give your medical history about any mental health issues that you have to your employee so that they can give you reasonable accommodation. Make sure you have that. Tell a doctor, the mental health, a therapist, a psychologist that you need documentation to show that you have mental health illness, and they would send the documentation stating that you do, and then they'll sign it. They would not disclose anything that you are going through. It's nobody's business but you and that therapist and your spouse. If you tell your spouse, your family, if your family know, and more than likely your family's not going to disclose that information if you don't want them to. So I would say that about family, if it's something that pertains to health issues of importance and you say don't talk about it, family keep it close to the hip, that's the families that really is together and really support one another. Not all families do that. Some families, they get mad at you and say, that's why you got diabetes all the time. Or that's why you got diabetes of the mouth. Diabetes of the mouth. What you talking about? So they take your condition and they put it in another place in the body, and then they start talking about you. So you got to be careful with some family. Next is leave of absence. For more severe mental health challenges, you may be entitled to an extended leave of absence. Depending on your situation, this could fall under the Family and Medical Leave Act, FMLA, or be requested as an accommodation. Read that again. I'm not going to read it 4 times like I did with the reasonable accommodation. Leave of absence. For more severe mental health challenges, of what you requested from reasonable accommodation. So this is more severe than what would reasonable accommodation is. Reasonable accommodations, if you want to say what level you want to rank them, it's like the basic of mental health. If they're actually a basic of mental health. But I'm talking about within the legal and corporate consideration of that facility. Leave of absence for more severe mental health challenges. You may be entitled to an extended leave of absence, depending on your situation. This could fall under the Family and Medical Leave Act, FMLA, or be requested as an accommodation. Next, Employee Assistance Program, EAP. Many companies offer EAPs, which provide free and confidential counseling service. This is a valuable resource for developing and formalizing your coping strategies. Some companies even allow you to use your outside therapist underneath the Employee Assistance Program. So some companies, they assist you in an avenue, but they don't have the professional there to assist you in your situation. They have counselors there for the basis, but they don't have counselors there that deals with certain issues. For example, say an individual have PTSD. Well, they may have a counselor there that understands PTSD basic, but don't understand PTSD through cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, or through trauma, PTSD. So it might just be the basis. So be careful with that. And don't just accept a counselor because they want to give you a counselor. You communicate with them, say, I have a counselor. I just want to know if you're going to support me with that counselor financially, or are you going to support me with that counselor for time off so I can actually go and be treated through that counselor, the therapist. Now I say counseling service. I'm talking about therapy service. So some individuals, some facility have the counseling service. They don't go that far. They communicate with you and tell you what you can, cannot do, what limitations you have, limitations you don't have. They don't really get deep into the therapy side. So don't go to that counselor telling that counselor all your business. Even the counselor, you go to that counselor, and that counselor got a couch. That's not a therapist. That's not a psychologist. Don't you go lay on that couch and start telling your business. Because that counselor going to go back to the person that pays him the bill, or him or her the bill, and then tell that person exactly what you said. And now you condemn. And it's 12 months that you saw that counselor and you was up for your evaluation, you up for promotion, and you haven't got neither one of them. And then that 13 month, all of a sudden, they doing reshifting in the company, and you get let go. And they tell you because your job is no longer available, and they're going to different areas. You know how they do it when they don't want you to be there anymore. They tell you that your job is being phased out, and a new one coming in. And then you're looking at Ketchup, who does the same work as you do, and Ketchup got promoted. Well, Ketchup and your job phased out, and they transitioned Ketchup to another job that's similar to the job he had. But for some reason, they didn't transition you over. You get to thinking, what's the difference between me and Ketchup? I train Ketchup. I got a degree, Ketchup don't. Difference is Ketchup didn't tell all his business on that couch and in front of that counselor that works for the same person that you work for. And then they sit in that meeting. So what happened? And they tell you exactly what happened. Well, that person's unstable. I don't have time to sit around and wait on that person. This company's moving. Well, give it a little time, then we'll move away from them. That's change the structure. So we change the structure legally. We said we just phased that out. Communication is key. Lastly, communication is key. When we question accommodation, it is important to communicate professionally with a manager or human resources. Focus on how accommodation will help you perform your job effectively rather than oversharing personal medical details. Let me say it again. Communication is key. When we question accommodation, it is important to communicate professionally with a manager or human resources. Focus on how accommodation will help you perform your job effectively rather than oversharing personal medical details. Okay, today was part 3. We talked about the mental health, leaving, all 5 series on mental health. But part 3, we talked about leaving the room or physically distancing oneself/yourself in the workplace. I want to thank you for tuning in this week for this episode and going out. Once again, I want to mention, as you see the picture come up, as you see the flyer come up, that my fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, is having what we call Nup Navidad, which is, I consider, a Christmas party. You see all the Christmas decoration and things on the flyer. Also list the amount to be paid. You can pay for a table of 8 or individual tickets. Also shows how you can pay it. There's other information on it as well, too. It's a pretty color, too, as it read. You can also email me for questions regarding that flyer at Emmett Emery 1 at AOL.com. Emmett Emery 1 at AOL.com. Yeah, that's right. I still got AOL. AOL.com. Don't mess with me. I'm old school. You probably say, wow, AOL. Who still got AOL? I still got AOL. And other people my age still got it too. So I thank you for tuning in. Once again, that's Emmett Emery 1 at AOL.com. The number 1. I appreciate you. Until we meet again, subscribe to me. God bless you. Goodbye.